It's day 2 after Category 5 Hurricane Melissa caused severe damage to sections of the island. And our hearts go out to our fellow citizens in the western and southern sections of the country. Today we bring you the devastating images and share response updates on the damage and measures being taken by the government.
So where we know that schools can resume, we will be doing so on Monday. But a lot of our schools do not have electricity and they do not have water, even in places that weren't as badly affected.
You're watching Jamaica Magazine. I'm Adrian Atkinson. Welcome.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry and this is your JIS News for Thursday, October 30, 2025. The Meteorological Service has discontinued the flash flood watch for low-lying and flood-prone areas for all parishes following the passage of Hurricane Melissa. The powerful Category 5 system made landfall on Tuesday, October 28 in New Hope, Westmoreland and exited east of Falmouth, Trelawney later that evening. The hurricane is projected to move farther away from the island and was forecast to pass near or to the west of Bermuda late this evening. Scattered afternoon showers and isolated thunderstorms across most parishes is forecast up to Sunday. Meanwhile, as Jamaica's post-hurricane recovery efforts get underway, Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness has begun touring sections of the country to get a first-hand look at the catastrophic impact of Hurricane Melissa. Western Jamaica was battered by hurricane-force winds and rains for hours, leaving communities flooded and causing significant damage to homes, hospitals, commercial buildings, and road infrastructure. On Wednesday, the Prime Minister did aerial and ground tours in St. Elizabeth and St. James as conditions allowed. The Prime Minister and Ministers of Government continue their aerial and ground assessments today. The Ministry of Labour and Social Security, working with its partners in the Humanitarian Assistance Committee, has begun supporting affected communities and coordinating the national relief response. Assessments now underway in accessible affected areas will help determine the level of assistance to be provided to households whose homes have been damaged or destroyed. The Norman Manley International Airport in Kingston and the Ian Fleming International Airport in Boscobel St. Mary reopened today for commercial flights. During a tour of the NMIA on Wednesday, Transport Minister Darrell Vaz said the airport sustained only minimal superficial damage in isolated areas. He indicated that priority was being given to persons seeking to leave or enter the island in the aftermath of the storm.
There are people that we need to get out. There are people who are here stuck as tourists and locals who are here on vacation that want to go back, and there's a lot of anxious Jamaicans and other persons who want to help that want to get in.
The minister says the country's ports are open to receive relief supplies.
We will be able to receive relief flights, both flights and also by sea in short order, and therefore we will be open to start the recovery in earnest. Look forward to all of Jamaica, all hands on deck, so that we can rebuild and especially help those who are suffering at this time.
Meanwhile, the Sangster International Airport SIA suffered significant damage to one section of the facility during the passage of Hurricane Melissa. Chief Executive Officer Shane Monroe gave an assessment of the damage during a visit from Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness on Wednesday.
The major damage we have is on the airfield with the perimeter fence and significant damage to the terminal building. We have a section where we lost a part of the roof. So all efforts are now underway to restore service as quickly as possible.
The airport has since been reopened for relief flights. Dr. Holness says plans are underway to build a new terminal at Sangsters.
It is due for a total, well, not just renovation, it has to be a new building, totally new building. And that process has already begun. Unfortunately, we weren't able to complete it and build a new terminal before being hit.
The Jamaica Customs Agency is now partially operational. The JCA says it's working closely with airport and seaport terminal operators as Jamaica prepares for the full reopening of all ports and clearance points. Information Minister Dr. Dana Morris Dixon gave additional details this morning.
So KFTL and KWL will commence unloading of vessels and delivery of cargo. They started that at 7 a.m. this morning, and so the ports are opening. We also should note the waiving of storage fees until November 2. The Port Authority of Jamaica and the public wharves, KFTL, KWL, and port handlers will waive storage charges on containers for the period that the terminals were closed until the 2nd of November 2025.
Teams from the National Works Agency NWA, municipal corporations, and other government entities have been mobilized island-wide to clear blockages and debris from major roadways. Minister of Local Government and Community Development, Desmond McKenzie, gave an update yesterday.
We have not had a full rollout yet of the damage, but I know there are a lot of block roads. Some of the roadways that were affected are Dalvin, St. Thomas, Hampton Green in St. Catherine, Caledonia Road in Manchester, and other roads right across the country.
He says relief coordination efforts now include the Jamaica Fire Brigade and the National Solid Waste Management Authority, who are working jointly to implement a national strategy for the clearance of fallen trees.
We are now in the process of beginning the cleanup exercise on our main roads. The NWA team is mobilizing to clear block roads and to assess damage. As conditions improve,
members of the public are being urged to exercise extreme caution while traversing roadways as debris and downed Jamaica Public Service Company JPS power lines remain a hazard in several areas. The Jamaica Defense Force JDF has activated a humanitarian and disaster task force with 3 disaster assistance teams working to support restoration efforts. Information Minister Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon gave an update during a press briefing at Jamaica House this morning.
Yesterday, they started the work to get to Westmoreland. They are cutting their way on foot through blocked roads, by foot. This is not easy work. So they were able to get to Black River through a lot of very difficult work and difficult conditions. They were also able to do Luana, Middle Quarters, and New Holland.
She says the JDF team also began clearing Holland bamboo to establish a corridor where relief and emergency vehicles can go through. That work continued today, while the force also conducts air response in affected areas.
They have been taking patients from Black River. So they've been doing casualty evacuations from the Black River Hospital. They've also started this morning to move some of the pre-positioned food from Up Park Camp, which is our military base.
The JDF will also be carrying out patrols in the affected areas to secure the safety of citizens. Earlier today, the National Reserve was activated to support the hurricane relief operations. All members of the first class of the Jamaica National Reserve were called to report to their respective duty stations in accordance with directives from the Governor General as part of the National Emergency Management Framework. The reserve personnel will work in close partnership with the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, ODPEM, and other government agencies. They are being deployed to support relief operations, search and rescue missions, logistics coordination, and the security of high-risk areas. Some health centers within the southeastern parishes of St. Thomas, St. Catherine, and Kingston and St. Andrew reopened today, operating from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. The Southeast Regional Health Authority, SERA, adds that full services are currently being offered at 5 major hospitals, namely Kingston Public Hospital, National Chest Hospital, Hope Institute, the Sir John Golding Rehabilitation Center, and Princess Margaret Hospital. Other major hospitals remain open but continue to operate in emergency mode to provide critical and life-saving care only. Non-emergency services are temporarily suspended as staff work to manage emergency cases and stabilize operations amid ongoing challenges related to power supply and infrastructure damage. The Health Ministry also advised that the Black River Hospital in St. Elizabeth, Noel Homes in Hanover, and Falmouth Hospital in Trelawney have been severely impacted and therefore cannot accept any patients at this time. The ministry is currently conducting damage assessments across the health network and coordinating with regional health authorities and the National Emergency Operations Center to restore full services as quickly and as safely as possible. Still on health, the ministry continues its urgent request for blood donations as supplies run low following the passage of the hurricane. National blood supplies are now critically low for persons who may require transfusions for surgery, trauma care, and childbirth complications. The National Blood Transfusion Service says this resulted as the hurricane disrupted normal collection and storage operations across several parishes, slowing the movement of blood and blood products to hospitals. Donations are now being accepted at the offices of the National Blood Transfusion Service at 21 Slipe Road in Kingston. Those wishing to donate are reminded to wait until travel is safe and roads are cleared before visiting any collection site. Blood donors are also advised to eat well, rest and stay hydrated before donating, and to bring a valid ID when attending the blood bank. Energy Minister Darrell Vaz is reporting that 70% of Jamaica Public Service Company JPS customers remain without power following the hurricane's passing. During a press briefing this morning, Minister Vaz said electricity had been restored to the main areas of Kingston, St. Andrew and St. Thomas. As of October 29, a total of 490,000 customers were still without power. In Clarendon, 51,000 customers remain without supply.
Hanover, same, 16,466. KSA North, 96,000 customers, 25,000 without light. South, 60,091, only 3,946 have light. Portland, 23,000 customers, 19,000 without light. Portmore, 52,000, 31,000 without light. St. Anne, 46,000, all up without light. St. Catherine, 86,000, 50,000 without light. St. Elizabeth, 45,000, all out. St. James, 62,000, 61,000 without. St. Mary, 30,000, 29,000 without light. St. Thomas, 20,000, 4,657 without light. Trelawney, fully out at 20,712. Westmoreland, 34,000, all without light.
Minister Vaz, who also has responsibility for telecommunications, says the Universal Service Fund, USF, has reported that 7 Wi-Fi hubs in the western region and 12 community Wi-Fi hotspots are down due to hurricane damage.
In the interim, deployment of Starlink satellite-based internet systems to provide immediate broadband coverage in key communities while terrestrial infrastructure is restored. Installation of solar-powered hubs that can support Wi-Fi access and device charging for residents, enhancing community resilience and access to communication channels during restoration period.
Minister of Tourism Edmund Bartlett has set a firm target for Jamaica's tourism industry to be fully back in operation by December 15, 2025. To deliver on that goal, the ministry has activated a high-level Hurricane Melissa Recovery Task Force and a companion Tourism Resilience Coordination Committee called Tourism Cares to synchronize public and private sector action. The Recovery Task Force, which is comprised of a distinguished cross-section of public and private sector leaders, is chaired by John Biles, Executive Deputy Chairman of Chukka Caribbean Adventures, and Minister Bartlett serving as Chairman Emeritus. It will drive the operational restart of the sector, prioritizing rapid assessments, product rehabilitation, and service readiness across resorts, attractions, ports, and key corridors. The Tourism Resilience Coordination Committee will be chaired by Jessica Shannon, Chief Experience Officer at Sandals Resorts International. It will identify, coordinate, and mobilize assistance including cash, in-kind goods, skilled volunteers, and technical expertise. In alignment with ODPEM, this committee will route the support through supportjamaica.gov.jm. Minister Bartlett says both task forces will coordinate closely with the Global Tourism Resilience and Crisis Management Center. And finally, offers of recovery support have begun coming in from Jamaica's bilateral and multilateral partners. The United Kingdom UK government is mobilizing £2.5 million, or about 510 million Jamaican dollars, in emergency humanitarian funding to support the Caribbean region's recovery from the devastation caused by Hurricane Melissa. According to a statement from the British High Commission in Kingston, this funding will support a rapid humanitarian response and is to include the delivery of emergency emergency supplies such as shelter kits, water filters, and blankets. The United States of America President Donald Trump has directed the Department of State to mobilize support for affected communities. The State Department is reportedly collaborating with UN agencies, NGOs, and host governments to deliver food, water, medical supplies, hygiene kits, temporary shelter, and search and rescue support. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
So the first technique that will be explained today is the technique of boiling. What we advise is for you to obtain clean water, water that you can see through. Then you would place it into a pot, you'd cover the pot and allow for it to boil. Allow for rolling boil for about 5 minutes. Then it would look something like this. Then after you would have achieved the 5 minutes of rolling boil, then you'd allow for it to cool. Then you would place it inside of another container.
Use an airtight container to store your water. If the water is not used within a few weeks, be sure to carry out additional treatment of the water. That may include boiling the water once more.
Up next is an excerpt from Minister with Responsibility for Works, Robert Morgan, on the state of our roadways. He was speaking at a press briefing held early today at Jamaica House.
The hurricane made landfall along the western coast of Jamaica, resulting in a significant damage to roads and other infrastructure, particularly on the western parts of the island, Westmoreland and South St. Elizabeth, South Manchester, and in some places in Clarendon. It also had serious impacts in Trelawney, Hanover, St. James, and St. Anne. Based on the reports received up to early this morning, more than 151 roads have been reported affected island-wide. Of this amount, 134 are still blocked. We have fully cleared 11 roads, and we have partially cleared to single lane 41 roads, while we're still working on 82. Now, based on our mandate at the National Works Agency, our central role is the immediate activation of our various parish offices to mobilize equipment and personnel to clear blocked roads and restore access to communities. Primary consideration has to be given, based on our mandate, to corridors which include health facilities such as hospitals and clinics and health centers, airports and seaports. Across the island, a large percentage of the Jamaica Public Service facilities are lying on the road. The contractors cannot touch those power lines without the Jamaica Public Service Company saying to us, it is safe for us to do so. We have to examine major infrastructure such as bridges. We have to look at the Sandy Gully Bridge to make sure that it is ready to take heavy traffic again. We have to look at the Maypen Bridge, the Yallas Bridge, all of these things. And not only do we have to look at the bridges, but we also have to work in collaboration with NWC, because a lot of the bridges also carry important utilities such as water line on them. So it's a collaborative approach with the government. We have secured partnership with our partners, including construction contractors, major contractors such as China Harbour Engineering, and other grade 1 contractors such as S&G and others. I won't name all of them, who have capital works taking place. For example, S&G is working in Portmore to help clear the roads in Portmore. China Harbour is working in St. James to help to clear those roads in St. James. And all across the island, we have engaged not only contractors at the grade 1 level, but also lower level contractors and also equipment owners island-wide, and they're working specifically in South St. Elizabeth. So we're in collaboration with JPS, NWC, Office of the Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, and we continue to work. Our first priority is to give single lane access, at least single lane access to where roads are blocked, which includes removing fallen trees, clearing landslides, relieving flooded areas by creating additional drainage. 24 hours to 30 odd hours after the event, we are still clearing roads and restoring access island-wide, and hence we are not able to provide a full cost as yet as to what the impact has been. Our targeted approach is multi-pronged. Reopening of blocked roads first to at least single lane, restore drivability of main thoroughfares which have been scoured, assessment of critical infrastructure for safety, bridges, gullies, rock revetments, and river training, assessment of traffic signal network, collaboration with our partners, JPS, NWC, our telephone companies, ADPEM, and our municipalities, and also giving regular updates to the nation as to where we are in clearing and assessing.
Hurricane straps help keep your roof secure during heavy winds. Strap is advice. Make sure your home is secure. Strap down your roofs to withstand the wailing winds of hurricanes and other major storms. Don't wait until it's too late.
It's a very simple thing. It is inexpensive and it doesn't require much technical know-how to do it.
Strap down your roof now. Save yourself a world of hurt later.
Also coming out of the press conference is an update from Minister of Transport, Telecommunications and Energy Daryl Vaz and Dr. Andrew Wheatley.
The floating storage reclassification unit that supplies LNG is expected to dock on Friday, October 31st. This will restore natural gas supply to plants that burn gas as a primary fuel. Transmission, over 70% of transmission lines remain out of service due to the severe damage. Reconnaissance flights with the JDF will continue today to assess further damage. Distribution, over 52,000 customers were restored over the last 24 hours. Approximately 490,380 customers, 72% of the customer base is still without power. 70% of the distribution network is de-energized with only sections of Kingston and St. Andrew, St. Catherine, and St. Thomas, the main areas being served. 8 major hospitals have been restored, including all major hospitals in Kingston, St. Andrew, St. Catherine, Spanish Town, now has power. We're working to restore 13 other major health clinics across the island. Power has been restored to the Norman Manley International Airport. Total customers out as of October 29th, 542,000, and customers restored over the last 24 hours, 52,000, leaving 490,000 without power. All 3 international airports are now open for relief supplies. Norman Manley International resumed operations this morning for commercial passenger. JUTC rolled out 175 buses this morning in the Kingston metropolitan area, Spanish Town and Portmore. Those buses are going to stay on the routes, the rural routes, West Rural and East Rural. The road conditions and damage are bad, so we're unable to get into those areas. And the Rural Express, JUTC Rural Express, will discontinue the Negril service until obviously access is accessible.
Well, Jamaica and the government tries to deal with the aftermath of Hurricane Melissa. We have some unscrupulous players, not necessarily within Jamaica, but worldwide, trying to take disadvantage of the situation. The Jamaica Cyber Incident Response Team, Jamaica CERT, is issuing an urgent alert to the public in Jamaica and worldwide regarding the emergence of fraudulent websites attempting to exploit generosity in the wake of Hurricane Melissa. Jamaica CERT's monitoring systems have detected multiple suspicious domains currently under development that appears designed to divert hurricane relief donations away from legitimate channels. In fact, up to last night, we identified 8 such sites, and just now it has been updated to 28 sites that are attempting to divert contributions, donations from legitimate sources. These malicious actors are creating fake websites with names deliberately similar to Jamaica's official donation portal. What we have identified, ladies and gentlemen, is that these sites are at varying stages of development, but Jamaica CERT suspect that these sites may become active in coming days. The only legitimate government website for Hurricane Melissa relief donations is https://www.supportjamaica.gov.jm. How should you protect yourselves? Verify the URL carefully.
As we close, we urge safety as you move about, as we recover together. We will have further updates inside Jamaica Magazine tomorrow. In the meantime, stay connected via our website, jis.gov.jm. And while you're online, send your feedback to Jamaica Magazine at jis.gov.jm or via X at JIS News. You may also find us on all the major social media platforms and through our mobile app that's Android and iOS compatible. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Do take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.